I have an awesome interview planned today about working out and workouts for people in their 40s, 50s, and beyond. Hi, this is Mimi Bonnie. Today, my special guest is an IFBB Pro bodybuilding coach who I've been working with for years now. Now, I've worked with 3 IFBB Pros, and this guy is the only one that, first off, did not treat me like a number, and most importantly, he took my training to an entirely different level. I mean, I've been working out for 15, 16 years now, and I always thought I worked out really hard, but I really had no idea what intensity was. So this guy is Dolphin. He's an IFBB Pro bodybuilder who has been competing for over 20 years. He's 55. He's also the MTV Made coach, and he's also the owner of Dolphin Fitness and the brand Tastic after 50.
Chest up, pull those shoulders back. Right, bring me up higher.
They're getting heavier.
Uh-huh. Come on. One more.
So let's meet him.
So Doug, thanks for taking the time today.
Hello, how are you?
Good, good. So today, I guess we're going to talk about working out for people as they mature and their bodies change, and specifically people over 40 and 50. So some of my questions that I have for you is, what type of concerns do people have when they mature and into their 40s and 50s when it comes to working out?
Okay. Well, as people mature, you know, like myself, as we get a little bit more mature and a little more seasoned, it's two different ways of looking at it. It's the seasoned athlete who gets a little bit older, and now he's saying, my workouts can't be as intense as they were before, and he has to learn to kind of maybe take a little bit more rest, warm up a little bit more, and make sure that you listen to your body. As a younger person, you can kind of just be all over the place. You don't have to listen to your body as much. But as we get older, it's very important to listen to our body, get the proper amount of rest, and be a lot more secure and in touch with your nutrition.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But when people come to you, like, what are their concerns? Like, what are they worried about?
Well, they're really worried about injury. Okay. As the people work out and as they mature, they start to worry about, hey, can I handle this workout? Can I still work out as intense as I used to work out? And one of the main things I say is, like I said, listen to your body, give yourself proper rest period. But as we get a little older, we do kind of get a little more prone to have injuries. So it's very important. It's almost just like an older car. You start an older car, you have to warm it up a lot longer than if you have a brand new 2017 car. You put it in, start it, and it goes. So we have to be smart about that. And I get a lot of concern from my clients about how to prevent injury.
Okay, so it's very preventative, and you're saying that they need to warm up longer and take longer rest periods.
Yes.
What about the intensity in terms of lifting heavy weights? Like, should they not lift so heavy? How does that change?
Well, if you've been lifting heavy, if you're a lot of my clients, a lot of people I talk to are bodybuilders and strength guys that's been doing this for years. If they've been doing it for years, because you might have to slack up a little bit, but you don't have to go extremely light just because you've gotten a little older. If your body can handle it, then you can still use moderately heavy weight. I wouldn't say you want to try to push the same weights that you did when you were 25, but you don't really have to be afraid. But if you're new to it, if you're just starting out and you're in your 40s and 50s and you're just starting out, I would definitely recommend going extremely light, making sure that you can kind of tune in on the form, make the mind and muscle connection, opposed to using something too heavy where you can't contract and you can't really feel that particular muscle.
Okay. So if you're newer to it, then it really is about what your current situation is and what level you're at, and more about feeling the muscle contraction.
Exactly, exactly. Because when you're new to it, if you just start moving a whole lot of weight, you won't make the mind and muscle connection, and you won't be using the proper muscle. You'll be recruiting all sorts of muscles to move an object, whereas you want to use a particular muscle group for that particular exercise.
Okay. For people who want to build muscle, are at-home workouts enough?
Well, I'd say if you're a beginner, at-home workouts will suffice. Okay, you won't build muscle, but you can enhance the muscle you have. You can make it a little harder. You can get in better shape. You can feel better about yourself just overall working out. If you're trying to really increase muscle size, unless you have a complete gym in your house, in your basement or something, you would need to go to a gym, because in order to grow muscle, you really have to stimulate it by slightly increasing the weight. And you can't really do that just by doing push-ups and sit-ups and doing burpees and stuff like that at home.
Yeah.
So that's good. Home is good for conditioning, but if you're really trying to take it to the next level, I would definitely suggest get a gym membership. Go to the gym a couple times a week. Make sure you're doing things the proper way, and then you can see true muscle growth.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So the gym is ideal, but let's say people at home who have like resistance bands and weights, will that help a little bit or not so much?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely help. First of all, let's get it straight. Any exercise you do will help at any age. But if you have resistance bands, if you have a foam roller, if you have things that you can actually use in your house, you can definitely stay in shape. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it won't really stimulate new muscle growth, but you can stay in shape.
Okay. But would you say, for people in their 40s and 50s, one of their primary goals should be to build muscle so that they increase their metabolism? It's said that that's one of the best ways to kind of keep the fat off, and as you get older you do lose muscle mass and your metabolism slows down. So based on that notion, would you highly recommend that people try to build muscle versus just stay conditioned?
Absolutely, because when you work on the muscle, you actually you burn more fat, right? And also remember, as we get more mature, right, muscles tend to atrophy. Mm-hmm. And working out, stimulating it with resistance training helps fight the atrophy. So you can at least hold on to the muscle you have. Even if you don't build any more muscle, you can hold on to it if you're training with weights and you're using some resistance.
Okay, that makes sense. So in terms of frequency, what is the ideal amount of days that someone should work out a week?
Okay, I'd say if you're kind of a seasoned veteran, you can probably still continue to work out the 4 or 5 days. I don't recommend more than 6 days to anyone. And if you were doing 6 days, you're really a professional athlete, or you're a professional bodybuilder or someone like that. And I still wouldn't say do 6 days straight. I would still recommend a break in between. Mm-hmm. But for the average person who's in shape or trying to get in shape, if you're working out 3 times a week, I think that's optimum. 4 times, if you're doing 4 times, you need to take a break. I don't really think 4 days in a row is good. Because remember, as we get a little more mature, the body needs time to recover. Mm-hmm. So anything more than 2 or 3 days is kind of starting to tax the body. So make sure you're getting your time in there to recover and rest.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're saying 4 days is fine, but if there's a break in between, not 4 days in a row.
Right,
okay.
Exactly.
So 4 to 5 days a week total then is what you would recommend, unless you're more seasoned.
And if you do 3 days, it should be like a perfect schedule for someone who's kind of just starting out, or who's intermediate to below intermediate. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Mm-hmm. You give your body a chance to work out, get a little rest, work out, get a little rest. And then if you want to throw an extra day in there on the weekend, you throw an extra day in.
Yep, okay.
So that works.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So in terms of rest periods, the younger folks rest, they're crazy sometimes, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, a minute. What would you recommend, or less, or actually even none. It's just back-to-back exercises, Exactly. So in terms of that type of intensity and the rest periods, what would you recommend?
I think a safe rest period is anywhere from a minute to a minute and a half, depending on your intensity. Like I said, if you are someone who's been working out for 20 years, your intensity level, you might be able to go with, a 30-second rest period, a minute rest period or less during some sets. But the average person, I'd say it's safe as we approach our 40s and 50s. I'd say a safe time would be a minute to a minute and a half. And if you're still a little bit winded after a minute and a half, it's not going to hurt to rest 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Mm-hmm. So, Doug, how old is your oldest client?
Wow. I'd have to say Rhoda is, I won't give you her last name, but my client Rhoda, she's 84 years old.
Oh, wow.
84. And she's a rocket. You know, I have to slow her down sometime, actually. She's been working out. She's been working out with me now for about 5 years. And she can touch her toes. You know, we do basic exercises. We focus a lot on balance and functional movement because think about it. As we approach that age, we want to make sure we can get up off the couch. We can get out of the car. You know, we can walk without stumbling. Or if we do stumble, we can recover without falling. So I work on a lot of things like that with the clients who are approaching those numbers, the 70s, 80s. I have a few clients who are in their 70s as well. And one of the main things they all want is that functional training, that balance, the core strength, not so much a lot of weights, but just enough weights to stimulate the muscle. Like you said, everyone wants to hold on to the muscle that they have.
Okay. So more so holding on to their muscle and being more functional.
Right.
Yeah. So do they do the workouts at home or is it at the gym?
No, I know most of those clients, they are afforded the luxury of having a gym in their building, and I go to them, and they just kind of roll out of bed and have something to eat in the morning, and Doug's there, and they get their workout in, you know. So it's convenient for them, but it also brings me to another point that's very important: consistency. You know, no matter what age you are, if you want to stay fit, consistency. People see me walk down the street sometimes, they say, man, how long did it take you to get like that? Or how did you get like that? And the main thing I say really is consistency.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure you can attest to that as well. You know, consistency. People work out for 2 or 3 months and they stop and they start all over. It's like spinning the wheels. But once you get into your system and you do it regularly, it becomes part of your life. Just like eating properly becomes part of your life. And then it all starts to fall into place, no matter what age you are.
Now, what about injuries? I mean, you know, people always have injuries that they're concerned about, like their lower back, or maybe like their foot was broken and things of that nature. Like, what kind of injuries have you been able to work around with?
I've been able to, me personally, well, my lower back gets tight sometimes, you know, and I find that I've been to the doctors, nothing's really wrong with it, but from so many years of lifting heavy weights and doing particular movements, deadlifts, squats, that it's just a little stiff. So I find that I stretch a lot prior to my workout and I stretch after my workout, and that helps a lot. I haven't had any other real injuries. My elbow sometimes tweaks a little bit. I've been diagnosed with a slight bit of tennis elbow. It's just a matter of stretching it. After I work out, I put ice on it. You know, I ice it. Icing is very important after you work out also, as we approach those 40 and 50-year-olds. You know, icing and the recovery time after the workout is very important.
What about clients with injuries? Are you able to develop programs and work around their, injuries?
Yeah. Well, as a trainer, I think a mistake that a lot of trainers make is that they ignore injuries and they think that you can just push through it, and pushing through an injury is the wrong thing to do. I work around injuries by making sure I have a connection with the client, so the client is able to tell me when something doesn't feel right. I work around it and I work with it. If I have to recommend that a client go to continue rehab, if a client has to go to a chiropractor, I do whatever I can as a team. It's not just necessarily always just Dolphin Fitness, I can get it done. Sometimes as a trainer, you have to recognize that you might need someone else to kind of help a client get past an injury. And just always train people smart.
Great. Well, thank you, Doug. That was extremely helpful. And I know we talked about creating a special offer for my viewers. So what kind of custom workout can you offer them to give them a small taste of what you can do? All
right, well, in a 6-week program, I can offer your viewers an introduction to make sure that their form is proper, to make sure that they're doing the most effective exercises to continue to keep them along that path of getting healthy, living fit, and doing proper exercises. Okay, so a taste of it, it just means that you're going to learn enough exercises where you can start to build your arsenal, you know, and then from there you proceed. But it starts with just a little bit, just to make sure you understand the mind to muscle connection. You're using the right muscles. You know how to recruit the right muscles, little things like that. And in 6 weeks, after that 6 weeks, now you at least say, hey, I have a little bit of a foundation.
Yeah.
You know, that's how you get started.
Mm-hmm. Great. So in terms of a custom workout, what kind of things do you factor in to create that program?
Okay. Well, in a custom workout, first you have to consider a person's fitness level. Mm-hmm. You have to consider a person's conditioning. You have to consider if a person has any injuries. Mm-hmm. And if they do, you have to make sure that workout is going to be productive for them and make sure they're not going to get injured. You also have to consider if a person has any medical issues that can restrict their intensity or restrict their movement. Okay, so once you consider all those factors, and then you can put together a plan based on what that client is trying to achieve.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay, so for anyone who's interested, just simply click the link below, go to eatnotdiet.com/Doug Dolphin, and you can find out all the details there.
Yeah. High five. Do it again. Do it.
Right. Well, that's it. I hope you guys found that helpful. Make sure you subscribe to Doug's YouTube channel at Tastic After 50 and check him out at DougDolphinFitness.com. I'll leave all the links in my description below along with his social media. Make sure to give him a follow. And feel free to leave us any comments or questions. And thanks for watching. Until next time.